If you watched my last video on how I went viral making all of the baby keepsake sweatshirts that read mama across the chest, and I would use the baby onesies as the applique fabric, what I did not talk about on that video was what my business looked like behind the scenes. Because even before I went viral, I was busy within my business making things every day, but I was not profitable and I still wasn't making real money. So in this video, I want to talk about 4 reasons why I was not profitable while we stitch my favorite embroidery design. So anyhow, we are going to go ahead and get started and chat in this video. I am using a Just Hoods sweatshirt, and I will be pairing this with almost like a denim blue thread. And this color combination together with the rhinestones that I'm going to add is outstanding. So let's cut some stabilizer and let's chat about why my business was failing behind the scenes. Welcome back to another video. If you are new here, I am Tanish Fortson, your favorite virtual embroidery coach. And on this channel, we talk everything embroidery. So tonight's topic, we are discussing the 4 major problems with how you are running your embroidery business, and these problems are causing you to stay in the red as far as your finances. I had these problems in the beginning and throughout the middle of my business. None at the same time. However, they were major issues in my business. Hey guys, if you really enjoy the embroidery files that I create, then I need to tell you this. Right now, you can keep on buying my designs for $10 each, or you can join the Embroidery Mastery community and get 5 new designs every single month for free. That is $50 worth of designs every single month, plus access to every single thing that we do inside the Embroidery Mastery community. It's honestly a no-brainer. Click the link below to join us inside, and I will see you there. In the beginning of my business, I used to think my problem was embroidery, that I needed cleaner stitches, that I needed better designs, but that wasn't it. So I didn't have a business problem because of my skill or my skill level. I had a business problem because of the way I was running my business. All right, so the first problem was with pricing. And this was before I had KTS Apparel. So before I had my locked brand, this was when I used to sell my lock designs on Etsy. This was back in 2022. So I was using Etsy, and the formula that I was using was based on just what I thought was right and what I seen everybody else doing. And one of the things with pricing is that you need to price accordingly. You need to price also based on your situation. As a home-based embroidery business with 1 single needle machine at the time, I was pricing like I was a production company. It would take them a fraction of the time to do something than it would take me, but yet I had the same price as them. If I'm being honest, I was even buying my blanks too high. The profit margin just was not high enough for me to be sustainable as a business. I was overspending on blanks because I was using Jiffy shirts. Nothing wrong with Jiffy shirts, but at the time, I did not have my sales tax license. So when you use Jiffy shirts, you pay more than if you use a different distributor, so that you won't have to pay taxes on your blanks. And they sell in bulk for cheaper prices. Let's get this design loaded on the computer. All right, let's make sure everything is correct. We are using the 8x13 Mighty Hoop. We are using Madeira color 1671, and this is going to take about 22 minutes to stitch out. But while this is stitching, we will brush the rhinestones in. So let's do one quick trace. Let me see. I might have the placement a little low, so I may need to scoot it up a little bit. We need to leave a little bit of space for the rhinestones as well. I'm gonna scoot it up just a little bit more. All right, we should be good. Here are our rhinestones. I did order a rhinestone storage kit and I love it so much. Now, a lot of people don't agree on me having this top part open or them being side by side, but this unit is pretty solid and sturdy. The color that we are using is this citrine AB. It's this really beautiful yellow that will pair very nicely with the sweatshirt, and it gives like the AB effect, which is like multicolor. Because I know you guys are gonna ask, I get all of my rhinestones from Beadsland and they are on Amazon and they will be linked. All right, I did want you guys to see the sweatshirt. This is so pretty. I don't know how the monochromatic look is coming across on camera, but they both are pretty outstanding. Anyhow, we're not doing a monochromatic look this time. There will be color for the stitches. This is my heat transfer tape. It's what I'm going to pick the rhinestones up with. And I have my template on a cutting mat. I have actually learned that I don't like to take my mat down. I just will use my fabric weights. My fabric weights are from Amazon and they are linked as well. You just have to be careful and not move the template or the rhinestones will fall out. So anyhow, back to what I was saying about my business. It's just not going the way that I wanted to. I think I left off. I was buying my blanks too high. And by the time I got my blanks, spent time embroidering, the labor, the overhead and all that, I really wasn't making a profit, and that was the issue. But I didn't know that I wasn't making a profit because I wasn't tracking my numbers. So I really thought that I was doing something because I was so busy, but I really wasn't. The only thing that I really did was burn myself out because remember at the time, I am a stay-at-home mom. I have always been a stay-at-home mom, even before I started doing this. And when I first started this business, my kids were 2 and 4, so they were not in school yet. So I was pretty burned out. Problem number 2 in my business was that I was doing every single thing. I was making everything. I was doing custom orders. I was doing corporate orders and logos. I was doing my lock brand. And obviously this is a little bit later. This was after I kind of figured out my pricing issue. I was just so eager not to put myself in that position again to where I wasn't profitable. I started taking every single order that came my way. I'm talking birthday shirts, tutus. You guys already know I did all the mama keepsake stuff and bears and blanket. I mean, everything. If it came to me, I was known as the yes lady, the nice lady who said yes to every single embroidery project. I thought more money meant more options, but it just made my business be all over the place. I mean, I was doing the most and doing everything, and it led to like my second burnout. Oh my God, you guys, look, while I was over there brushing in the rhinestones, there is a thread mishap. Oh my gosh, how am I gonna recover from this? Honestly, I've stitched this design so many times, I don't even know how that happened. This design stitches flawlessly. I'm gonna let this finish stitching and then I'm gonna like cut off the thread and see how it looks. If it doesn't look okay, I'm gonna go over it again, I guess. All right, let's look at the damage. Oh, I hate this for me. Now, you guys know I like how I like my stitches, and this is unacceptable. I absolutely cannot. Should I just start over? I cannot. I can't, you guys. If you ever send something like this to a customer, you should be ashamed because no, I don't know. I guess it doesn't look that bad, but I would never. Like, look at that. It's just gonna unravel in the wash. All right, so we have to look at the stitch count that we're on right now because we're gonna go back before this finishes. Oh my God, you guys know I'm real quick to start over. Oh my God. Okay, I need a pencil. So we are at 14,737. All right, so this is all the way over here. I'm gonna go back to about 5,000. Ooh, I think that's right on the money. Ooh, my calculation skills are on point. So whenever I go back stitches, I always make sure the needle is like at the top part of the embroidery, not in the middle, because those first 5 threads are not going to attached. They're gonna be loose. So we gotta account for that. Oh, yes. Oh my God. Make sure nothing's caught because I did take it off. Everything is brushed in. There were about 5 or 6 rhinestones that did not go in, so I'm just putting them in right now. Color is so pretty. There's like a damaged rhinestone. I'm just gonna drop that on the floor so my vacuum cleaner can get it. All right, I think that is everything. Now let's take the transfer tape. Let's get my heat press ready because the design has 5 more minutes. So the way that I do my transfer tape, because I have lost a lot of designs just dropping the tape on wrong. So for me, I fold it over like so. I just put it down and then I flip it up. So while we are waiting for that design to finish, we are going to go on to the third problem that I had in my business, which was that I was always stuck. And what I mean by that is that I'm a perfectionist, so I like things to look a certain way. I like what I like. When I first started digitizing, well, let me say this. Before I started digitizing, I was not pleased with people's designing skills. I was one of those kind of people. You know, every time I bought something from somebody, I always had a complaint. And if you're like that, it's time to digitize, hun. Like if you always complaining about someone's design or thinking to yourself, I would do this, I would change that, I would do this type of order, then you need to digitize. There is no way you should be critiquing somebody else's work that hard. Just learn how to digitize. So that was me, just forever critiquing, not 100% happy. So I started digitizing, learning how to digitize. And when I say that I was stuck, and you don't have to be a digitizer to be stuck, you could just be stuck within your business, period. The design just finished stitching out, so we're gonna go grab it. But I wanted to show you something that I did a lot in the beginning. I really don't do it anymore. I used to stay stuck in practice mode for way too long, especially as a digitizer. I know I say this, I don't really consider myself a digitizer, or I'm like a part-time digitizer. I put out some designs, but my sole goal is not to put designs out there in the world. My sole goal is mentorship and teaching others at this point. So one thing that I used to do was stay stuck on something because I was scared. It was fear that was holding me back. It wasn't my design or my work. And it doesn't have to be with digitizing. It could just be stitching something and listing it for sale like you haven't did it yet. And you're stuck, and that is fear. Testing, fixing, trying to make it perfect, you telling yourself that you're not ready, that's all the fear. I don't think that you are truly ever ready to do something, and we tend to make excuses for ourselves and put things off. But in business loves speed. So as soon as you have a design idea, you need to put it out there. As soon as you stitch a new design, take the picture, list it on Etsy, list it on Shopify or whatever website you have. Just do it scared, do it fearful. It typically always works out. I have did so many things not ready that you guys have no idea. You have to do it scared. So for example, with this design, this was something that I created, and I was stunned at how popular these like sequin sports designs were when I first listed them. I was truly stunned. I did not want to put my work out there like that. I promise you guys, I did not. Digitized it, tested it one time, and that was that. Made a reel about it, sold a whole bunch of designs. It really does not take all of that. Here's something else. We are working yet again on knockout stitches in the embroidery mastery community. We digitized this together. I test stitched it for them. That was that. And I also listed this design on my Shopify. Digitize it, test it, list it, one time. You only do it another time if there are mistakes, okay? Do not stay in the testing zone too long or you will miss out. All right, the design is finished. We managed to save it. I am so proud of myself. And we are pretty much almost done. We just need to press this and get the rhinestones on it. And you guys, my last problem within my business, which is problem number 4. And it actually was the biggest issue out of everything. It was that I didn't have any structures, any clear systems. So a business without direction or systems or having specific and certain procedures in place is not a business. It cannot function and it cannot run properly. And I was working very hard, but I didn't have a plan. So yeah, I was making money, but to be honest, it was like random money. It wasn't consistent sales, and you need predictable money in your business. I don't care what anybody says. It needs to be predictable and you need to know where it is coming from. Random money that comes in from here and there disappears very quickly, especially if you are not tracking it. Honestly, it was my husband kind of was watching my business from the outside. He wasn't always a part of my business. You know, we were doing separate things. He was the one that started asking me questions. He was the one who wanted to help me, but I didn't have any procedures in place. And he kept telling me that I was working in chaos, but that was all I knew. I thought that that was how you run a business, but it's really not. So for me, the shift was when my husband brought it to my attention that I was doing things the wrong way, basically. The wrong way could be a wrong choice of words, but there are better ways of doing things in business. He brought it to my attention that I would never have enough money to contribute towards other things that went on in our household. Like I would take care of the kids, do all of their activities and do things like that. But I didn't have a lot of extra money for the important things like bills and savings and, you know, all of the other things that it takes to maintain, not only run, but maintain a household and put away for the future. So I don't know. It was a little embarrassing having that pointed out to me, but I was ready to accept his help and have my business function like a real business. So once I stopped worrying about how to improve my embroidery, I started to focus on how do I build a profitable business with the skills that I already have. So once I started focusing on how to price for profit, how to focus on businesses that I actually wanted to work with, or how to become more niched to attract the audience that I wanted to sell to, I had to stop over practicing certain things and I had to start putting my work out there before I was actually ready. So I had to take action and I had to start taking action quickly. And the last thing that I had to learn with my husband's help, there is an extra rhinestone that should not be on there. I wonder, like, could I take it off? I would have probably ripped the shirt. Gosh darn it. Little things like this stress me out because I am an overachiever and I like for things to look perfect, but I'm not gonna let it get to me. Or at least that's what I tell myself. But yeah, I don't know if I said it or not because I got distracted with this, but the last thing that I had to learn how to do within my business was build structure so that my income wasn't so random. So I don't want you guys to sit up here and think that everything that has happened in my business was just like sure luck or because I went viral. No, I have put in the work for many years. I may not have been on YouTube that long, but I have paid my dues. I have learned so much. We have tried so many things to get our business to this point. Nothing was random and nothing was by chance. Like everything that has happened in my business is not because I went viral. If anything, going viral almost ruined me, and I had to recover from that. I had to fix my business, and I was very intentional about doing so. This looks really good, except for that rhinestone. I'm not even gonna show it to you guys. I'm gonna just see if y'all can see it. Don't tell me if you can see it because it's just gonna upset me. So the point of this whole little story time was to let you guys know that I am very intentional about how I run my business, and it has taken me a lot of learning and a lot of years to get to this point. So if you feel like you are putting in the work, but your income is not matching, it's not your skill level, it is your business structure. And if you are ready to fix that, then feel free to book a business clarity call with my husband and I to see if you are a good fit for our embroidery mastery mentorship program. Now, let me just be a little bit clear. This is not a coaching call or a let's get down and chat call. This is a structured business call. So we will sell you our program, but this call is to see if you are a good fit for our program. So like I said, if you are ready to get the structure that you have been looking for in your business, my husband and I will walk you through our program on a business clarity call and see if you are a good fit. So I do want to mention that we are running a Mother's Day sale on all of my courses, which is stitch by stitch, single needle, lights, camera, stitch, and any other course that I may have for the Mother's Day weekend. Now, me personally, I feel like this is the best job for mothers, stay-at-home moms, because we are able to still tend to our household, raise our babies, and bring home a really good income in the process. Also, if you are looking for a community to join, the Embroidery Mastery community is open as well. Inside the community, you get all of my digitized files. You will get access to weekly tutorials and other business tips and templates as well. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. This is the final look of the shirt. This design will be linked below as well. Let me know in the comments below if you plan on stitching this out. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.